All right, everybody. I'm here with a very special guest, the one and only Campbell Cooley.
Hey there, ESTE. I'm so happy. I've wanted to meet you for such a long time. We did kind of have a little interaction on your channel a few years ago when I was back in New Zealand, but this is like the first proper interview I've been able to do with you. I'm so looking forward to it.
And I'm so happy to be here. There's so many questions I want to ask. If you guys don't know, Campbell has done many different Power Ranger characters throughout the years. I want to know which one has been your favorite to voice.
That is so hard to answer because, you know, they're like every time I do a new character, it's like, oh, I really like the way that he sounds, or I really love the dialogue for this one. But, you know, at the risk, I hope I'm not disappointing anybody, but I've really grown to love Scrozzle. Scrozzle is my all-time favorite character to voice now, although there are some others great. Slither has great dialogue. Snide sounds like a psychopath. Cosmo's a heck of a lot of fun to voice, but, you know, for the most part, I love Scrozzle.
And Scrozzle's had a funny voice, and you've had many different types of voices throughout the years, and I love the way that you voice act. What was some inspirations of you on the come up?
Oh my gosh. So my standard answer is that, you know, the first number of years working on the show, a lot of these voices just kind of came to me because I already had a background. You know, I a background in theater. I'd done a lot of improv comedy. So, you know, I had all these kind of characters in my head. So I just kind of picked and choose, that'll go good for that, yada, yada, yada. Once we got to Scrozzle, oh my gosh, I really struggled with that voice. I didn't know what I was going to do for him. I was just like, he was an original design. He was like this robot. I was like, what does that sound like? And a half hour before the audition, I had nothing. I was panicking. And I was like going, what am I going to do? I'm going to look like a fool. So I just started pushing my voice and nothing was coming out. And then, you know, boom, the Scrozzle voice came out. And I was like, what was that? That doesn't sound like an evil robot. But I didn't care. I was like, I just got to do something. So I went in, I did it. I got it. I go figure. And my theory is that they chose it because he sounds like a petulant child, and that worked really well with Blaze and Roxy, but that's a story for another time. Slither, it's another example. I really struggled finding his voice, and that's too long a story. If you go to my YouTube channel, I've got a video on there.
Check it out. Link in the description.
Yeah, watch the video. I totally humiliate myself, but eventually I did find the voice. So, it's been an interesting process. Most of the time, the voices just come to me, and then sometimes I just struggle. So, you know, I'm just grateful that, you know, they've worked out.
Yeah, I think that's really cool, and I guess interesting, because I would think that maybe they would tell you what to voice, but you would make it yourself on your audition. Yeah,
no, they gave us a lot of flexibility. We just went in, we recorded whatever came to us. The only exception to that rule was Ninja Steel. They did give us some suggestions on where they wanted the voice to go, and I didn't necessarily agree with some of them, but you know, because I was originally going in for RipCon, and I think the brief was something like they wanted him to sound like Dirk Dastardly. I'm like, I can't do Dirk Dastardly, but I did something and they liked it. And the story behind that is that I was only going for RipCon, and I went in for a recall. I came out, the producer had overheard, he'd been sitting in the booth or out in the room listening, and he comes up to me and says, that's great, really good. Can you do Charlie in the Box? Now, for those of you who aren't old enough, Charlie in the Box is a character from a 1960s animation called Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. He's a depressed toy. And I knew the character, so he said, can you do Charlie in the Box? And I said, nobody wants a Charlie in the Box. And he says, I want you to audition for Cosmo. And I thought, okay, this is cool, but I thought he sounded too depressed, so I kind of gave him a Mad Hatter spin, and that's how Cosmo came into being. So, yeah.
That's so cool. And I got to mention this because I see you have the poster right here from Cosmo Fury.
Yeah.
Is that actual prop from the show? You had that printed out?
That was not from the set. But I did get permission to print that off.
Okay.
And so that in itself is a one of a kind. There's no others floating around.
I imagine no one has the PNG file around, so it's cool. It's cool that you get to have it in here, and you have these little keychains and everything. Right, and I think that's really nice. And I wanted to ask about Cosmic Fury because I know you had a cameo thing in Dino Charge. Was it once?
Yes. So when Slither was still evil, he appeared in human form as Mr. Wiz in an attempt to defeat the Rangers by tricking them into getting a laptop with a virus on it. And that was a lot of fun. And then, as you know, he came back in human form for Cosmic Fury, and he's a good guy now.
And how was that, Cosmic Fury, and doing all the circus acts?
That was crazy. Yeah, I mean, there's so many stories. Maybe we have to make that for another video. But yeah, that was an adventure. I'm so glad I got to do it.
I'm really glad to hear that. And Cosmic Fury, being the last big season, everybody's here, supporting it. And with Power MORPHICON, how do you feel about interacting with the fans and seeing that the love that people can have for the characters you voiced?
It still hasn't fully set in. I mean, I'm so grateful to be here. The fans are incredible. It's almost like I'm in a fantasy world. Like I'm just like, this can't be real. How is this happening? And when somebody comes up and they ask me to do a voice, or they don't realize I'm the voice of their favorite character, and I do it, and their faces light up like Christmas morning, I'm just like, wow, what did I just do? So I'm really humbled by it all.
That's awesome to hear, sincerely. I would like to end this with maybe a positive message you'd like to send to the people, because Power Rangers is dead, but it's the community that's keeping it alive, and stuff like this, the convention and meeting everybody. What do you think about all that? And what would you like to say to the people to keep their spirits up, I guess?
Man, don't put me on the spot like that. We're living in really hard times, and things that are important to us, sometimes they're vanishing, or they're taken away, or they just collapse around us, and it can be really quite overwhelming. And the only thing I can suggest is don't look at the mountain, don't feel overwhelmed. Just take each day at a time. Just take one small step each day. Focus on the things that are good in your life. Focus on the good things you have, and we will get through. We will get through this, no matter how crazy it gets.
That's love, and Power Rangers means a lot to the people, and it helps them. It takes that step by step, day by day thing, and that's really good. I'm glad you get to be here and get to meet everybody.
Glad to finally meet you in person properly.
Guys, and go check out his channel. You were doing behind the scenes, and now you should do story times for Cosmic Fury. So check him out, Campbell Cooley.
Thank you so much. Yeah, Campbell Cooley, voice actor at large at YouTube, and say hi to me on Instagram, Real Campbell Cooley. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you, brother.
Thank you.
Take care.
You've been great.
Thank you.